Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You've hit the spot. The place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Put your thinking caps on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You are at the location, at the spot, the place where the conversation is pointed and the guests right there are sharp and the responses are never dull. Today we have Alicia Pozsony. I'm excited. She's at the top of her game. Now, let me make sure that I have this correct because I don't want to mess up nobody's credits, okay? She is a radio host for Radio Power 98 FM satellite radio. And then in turn, it is streamed to a podcast. She's the author of not one, but two books. She's coming out with a very innovative, cutting-edge program. We're going to talk about that. It is the Power Your Life. What does that mean? Because I'm telling you, some people need to be plugged in like those, what you call those little plug-ins for the electric cars?
Yes. Well,
they are completely drained.
I am so glad to be here with you, April. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I am sharing my guidance and my wisdom with everyone through my story, and I'll get to that a bit later. But the Power Your Life program is the latest and greatest from my company. I'm a transitional wellness coach, so I bring people wellness. I help to bridge the gap from where they are to where they want to be. I help them achieve personal and professional success. So I empower people that might be struggling, feeling confused or upset with what they have going on in their lives. And if they're feeling stuck and unfulfilled, I help them to bridge with their authentic self to get to where they want to be, to get more impact, more influence, and more income.
Alicia, but let me ask you something. This is a big $25 word that a lot of people toss out, and I like to get people's interpretation of this wellness. Wellness is a state of mind. Wellness is a state of being. Wellness is having clarity. Wellness can affect not only your physical, your metaphysical, your finances, your relationships. You know, that's a lot of heavy lifting. How do you bring people back to this thing called wellness?
Well, April, I am glad you asked me that because in my Power Your Life program, the whole reason that I am calling it Power Your Life is because I involve the 8 areas of wellness. So as people, we're complex, right? We're not just a man, a woman, or, a person doing a job or having a role. We are complex. So when I say I meet people where they are, my program is designed to involve all those areas of wellness in a program that hits those categories. Yes, I have programs for women. I have programs for men. I have programs for leaders. I have programs for parents. I tackle those different areas because I know based on what I've been through and my skills, my experience, I know that wellness is not just single faceted, right? So when people are looking to make a change or make an improvement, they fail so many times because they're not looking at it from that broader spectrum involving all their whole self. So
yeah, they niche a lot of things down, and they'll get coaches that'll, just focus on career or mindset, but they don't look at the totality of the total human being. I want to dial back a little bit, share with my listeners, how you show up in the world. What is your story? What is your truth? And what does it cost you, bought you, and taught you?
Thank you. So I am actually very successful now, right? I have a business that I love, a life that I love. I have a wonderful family. I live in a home that's big enough that is in a park-like environment. I have time to go to my kids' activities. I have time to take vacations and show them the world. But I wasn't always this way. I started out coming from a broken home. My father abandoned me. My mother was mentally ill. I struggled growing up in urban environments. We didn't have much. We I didn't have the structure or support that I needed to grow up, go to college right away. I was broken. So I'm coming out with this now. This is my story that I'm not afraid any longer. I am not ashamed because I know that through all of that struggle, I now have this gift to give back to the world. So my story of transformation is one that I'm going to give the benefit to others to be able to get where they want to go. Right. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of the whole thing.
So you did a lot of, soul searching. You've invested a lot of money, I know, in education, and you've wrote, you've had a bumpy road. I get that. What do you tell the person that is really in the mindset that they're at the top of their game?
Mm.
Because they also need guidance to stay there, to become humble, to be very philanthropic, and have gratitude. What do you say to the successful person?
Yes. Now, I've along my journey, I did career coaching for many years. I've coached executives, I've coached entrepreneurs, I've helped people who were aspiring entrepreneurs get to where they want to go and have that business to live their dream. The number one thing I would say to them is that it's not just landing, right? So we all, even coaches have coaches, right? We all need that mentorship, that advisement. There's always ways that we can change and become better because the world is always changing and coming better. So as long as they are willing to be open, have an open mind, be open to the suggestion and the guidance, their life can improve. That's the thing, right? Some people think that money is the end of their, the end of their journey or their dreams, but there's a lot of
More
things.
money, more problems.
Right.
If you don't know how to manage it, you know what I'm saying? Because money is energy, and it's the relationship that you have with all energy. But that energy of money is so controlling, it's so manipulative. I remember when I was broke as a joke, I wrote myself a letter to my money, and my money wrote me back. Girl, after reading both sides of that letter, I have been financially free ever since because it allowed me to put it in perspective. And that's what we need to do, is we need to align it to where we are. Our lives are forever in flux.
Yes, exactly. So, and I've on my radio show, Resilient You, I have guests on there. They're celebrities, they're musicians, they're authors, coaches, entrepreneurs, and it's amazing to hear these people come down to earth and talk like a regular human being. We get to hear their story. We get to see what they've gone through and how they've gotten there. And the thing that they, all have in common is this resilience, right? So some of us are born with more of it than others. Some of it learn it. And it's a definite skill that helps you. So the money, the power, the fame, it can be so addictive and good, but it can be traumatizing, right? So it definitely takes resilience to bounce back and be able to get through that.
But also identify and recognize who you are and where you are at that particular point, because we all at some point live the imposter syndrome. It's not me, it's not my fault, or it's the other person, or I'm not good enough, or the expectations are too high. So when you find your clients at the beginning of their journey, how do you help them pull back the layers of their experience to really kind of figure out what you want to focus on? Because sometimes folks got a lot of stuff and you can't cover it all in a 3-month course, 6-month course, and they might need talk therapy. They might need some medication. You don't know what's going on in the world right now, seriously. But how do you help a person identify what they need to tackle first?
Yeah. So one of the things that is key, both in my book that I published, the book is called Emotional Strength Explained. And the first thing that I have you do is be honest with yourself, because people may not want to open up to a person right away. You have to build trust, or you need money. People may not have the time. Maybe they're not even equipped to deal with whatever it is that needs to be processed in order clear that pathway for them. So that's one of the first things that I invite them to do, is to be honest with themselves. My programs, we have activities and worksheets, workbooks that you use in order to start the process. And it's interesting when people can really be open and honest. That's how they start to go into those layers. And again, we go through it from a perspective of professional, emotional, physical. We connect with environmental, spiritual. I mean, we really hit all of this in this year-long membership I have.
Okay.
But
Here's a good time.
But it is, because even when I started out with career coaching and then I moved to life coaching, in a person's career, it wasn't as simple as just, we want to get this job or we want to get more money. It was, oh, I took care of my mother for this many years, or, oh, I was overweight, or I'm still overweight, or whatever the problems out there, oh, I got rejected by my girlfriend and I'm never going to be good enough to get that job or whatever. There was always a story. So that's when I started putting it together and piecing that in, in my mind. I mean, the world is so different now, right? After the COVID.
Girl, please. The world is, I don't even know what is going on sometimes.
Right. Whatever you were, we all got stripped away and it changed us. So So it's a perfect time to reinvent yourself. And the social media, the state of the world, how we can get information, it really, I think, can enhance you if you're in the right container, if you're in the right forum to be able to use the information that you're getting, right? So
yeah, let me dial back a little bit. I'm sorry, and go back to the book. Put the book up one more time for me, please.
Yeah, sure.
Now, is this a workbook? Explain to me what's inside the pages of Emotional Strength Explained.
Yeah, so Emotional Strength Explained is a workbook, and you don't need 300 pages of self-help information in order to get through this. In 30 days of using this, there are prompts in there, and the prompts take you through. There's inspiration, there's prompts. Every day you use it, and you move forward bit by bit, right? So it's really simple. You get knowledge, you get quotes. There's I don't want to give it all away, but there's inspiration.
No, but simplicity is good, because sometimes you get stuck up in this psychobabble and people are like, okay, no. People need something that they can use, whether you are facilitating or not, and they need a point of reference of something they can go back to if there's something that they've missed.
Yeah, and I tell people, use a pencil with this, because when you use a pencil, you might find you're using this and you started out, you're being honest, you say, oh, I need to make more money, or I need to improve these relationships, whatever it is. You start out, but then as you get through it, you realize, oh, wait a minute, there's more here to this. And it guides you to either get support or give up something. And it's really great. I've had people use this in their transgender journeys. I've had people use this together, relationships, mothers and daughters use this couples use it in order to heal their relationship and figure out what they each need. It's just been amazing. This book came out a year and a half ago, and that started my journey to this radio show I do, Resilient You. People,
inspiration. What was the aha moment? How'd you pluck that wild hair out your ass?
Well, that is a good story too. I told you that and the listeners, the brains out there, brains, you might have heard of people who've been through stories and they tell the story of their life. They write a book, they put a movie, they try to pitch this story. Well, I'm working on that now too, the movie, The Story of My Life.
Oh boy.
Growing up with a mentally ill parent, and the only parent, it leaves you under such opportunity for all kind of dysfunction. So imagine a girl growing up in the inner city being basically a misfit, right? So in the 80s. So my story, it has a bit of mystery. It has a bit of, like you can't believe what you're reading, but it's true. And it's a story that when I wrote the first draft and I put it out there to readers, they asked me, Alicia, how did you come out so normal? I never would have ended up normal after this. And that's what started the book. I realized that I used a process to get through things and still have hope no matter the circumstance, right? So when I took that and put it into words, not even 4 months later, the book was published. And it just is so inspirational to people that you can take time looking at yourself. You can see where I've gone, where others have gone, and you can become that person that you want to be. It's such a beautiful thing. So that's how that happened. That book, it came out from the memoir. Now the memoir is not out yet. It's currently being rewritten as a screenplay. So because again, I don't want it to just be another book on a shelf. I really feel my story. I've had people comment on it after reading it, and they just love the characters. They love the story. It's inspirational on so many levels.
Well, again, television and the movies. I don't know. I hate to plug, but I'm going to plug. Have you seen Barbie?
Yes.
Okay. It was not what you expected, but the subliminal messages were so much in your face that Brains, if you haven't seen it, it's it's full of fun stuff and pink and all that kind of stuff. But there's an underlying message, and I don't think unless you're at least 12 or older that you'll even catch on to what's going on. But the texture of the stories that people are experiencing now and they're sharing now, and they don't have to be afraid. That COVID was something else. It was a perfect pause, 2 years of absolutely nothing but time to think and stay in the house. And so now people are still thawing out from that, and they're trying to find their identity and they're trying to find their direction. But you didn't just write one book, you have a second book. Tell us about the other one as well.
I did. Speaking of Barbie, I took my daughter and her friend. They're 10 now. And they loved the movie. And I thought I wasn't going to like it because it was going to be a kid's movie. Well, not only is it not a kid's movie, it's an adult movie. And it's for men and women, I might add. So the things in there were so inspirational and reflective of this world today. And it's just amazing. There's been movements, revolutions throughout our lifetime, not to mention hundreds of years ago. But I really hope that it inspires the whole generation of us to bring love and bring equality. Right?
And I mean, it was touched on everything. I said, I got to go and see it again. It was just so much going on that I had to stop and say, I got to go back and see it a second time. So now this one is called The Fun Book, like a diary, but more fun.
More fun. Now, this book, actually, I wrote with my daughter. So
how sweet.
My daughter, she has ADHD, and throughout the challenges that I had with her as a parent, and everything I learned through parent coaching, through lessons, what worked, what didn't, when I put my book out, she said, Mom, kids don't really understand why they do what they do. And out of that one little statement, we partnered on this book. It's a book that's a tool for parents and caregivers as well to partner with their child in a positive way and understand it's based on the science of behavior, and it really handles the practical challenges that parents deal with. So it's for the kids, but obviously kids ages 5, they don't know how to read. So the parents can work with them. They personalize it. They work through. There's some questions you would ask them. It transfers the feelings that they feel into words, and then you can work with them on it, right? So my daughter started it, and we've circulated this out to the local school system for the preschoolers. And this is great for parents and caregivers, grandparents, aunts, uncles. it's something nice.
And it is something that she will cherish forever, because not only did she do that with her mom, but she made an imprint to help other children that are struggling with something that we don't know, because ADHD is different. You're on different sides of the spectrum for every person. Parents don't know how to identify this until it happens, until they're diagnosed. And then what are we going to do? So this is a fun activity book that you guys can share and that you can do together. So I commend you on that. That is super fun. But let's ask some fun questions about you, Alicia.
Okay.
All right. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be and why?
Well, the first thing came to mind was a blender.
I can't tell you how many people want to mix it up. When I ask this question, it's one of my favorite questions because it gives me a key insight to your personality. So why do you want to be a blender?
Yeah, the blender, there's different attachments for the blender. So it works for multiple things, right? It blends things together, giving you a whole new outlook on that ingredient, right? So, and that's pretty much what I do. I take a person, look at them on the outside, and then blend together what their wants, their desires, and make it happen. So that's what.
Decided I was going to be the air fryer.
Oh.
Because it's new, it's innovative, it's easy to clean, it keeps things juicy and crispy. You don't have to use a lot of oil. Okay, I love it. I want to be air fryer.
Wonderful. Well, that's it's interesting to think about people in that way. That's awesome. I love that question. Thank you.
If you were a car, what car would you be?
Well, in these late stages of my life, and even when I first started out, I wanted a sports car. And my parent said, you're not going to have a sports car, it's too dangerous, it's so needless to say, I didn't have that. Throughout my life, I didn't have money to buy a car I wanted. Having kids, you can't have a sports car. So actually, I'm now contemplating whether to get a Mustang convertible or not. So,
do it.
I would say the Mustang convertible, because it's fast, it's sleek, it's I don't know. It's
going to be free. You can let the top down and you can go fast in a Mustang.
Right.
Go fast in a Mustang. If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
Part of me says a rose, because it's classic, timeless, has a wonderful scent, beautiful, deep, rich color. Although, I love peonies, right? They're
they're so pretty
and flowing and
expensive.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. They're not cheap. Okay, I know.
There's different elements to it, I think.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
I often wonder if I was an animal before. I wonder if I was a cat, because I just love cats. They kind of they know what they want, they do what they want, they ignore what they don't want to be bothered with. They can be ferocious, they can play. I just love them.
I know. I want to be a party animal. I like to get it in, okay? After I air fry it, I want to get it in.
Good for you.
So if you had three wishes, anything, guilty pleasure, world peace, whatever, what would they be? What would be your three wishes?
Well, obviously, I would love to have unlimited wishes. But no, seriously, I think that world peace, it's overdone maybe, but I think we need it. We need it now more than ever, because there's too many haters out there. And it's, if people could find that peace in their lives, in their heart, to heal from whatever they've been through, they can have that peace and put that back out into the world. So world peace. And, the last one is probably, we have the freedom of speech, but I question
Mercy.
You brains out there, if you really do have that freedom of speech,
Mhm.
if
It's
people,
not the freedom of speech, it's what you're speaking. Okay. Because I tell people all the time, let's keep it 100. There's things that I don't like, and I have a right not to like them. And I have a right to say it in a respectful way, like okra. I can't stand okra. And my mother used to say to me, baby, you gonna have a little okra, corn, and tomatoes with your mama? And I was like, Mama, no, I don't like it. But let me tell you, I can cook the best corn, okra, and tomatoes on the planet, and I will serve it to you, but I don't like it. Don't force me to like something. If I don't agree, allow me the space and the bandwidth not to. You don't have to go along to get along, but it's how you say it. It's what you say. I'm not trying to hurt you because you're eating okra. I don't look at it as, oh God, ugh. I don't do all that. I just kind of, look at it with a side eye and mind my business. People aren't able to do that anymore, Alicia. They're so steadfast on making you conform,
yes,
to what they want, or you're not valid, or it's the cancel culture or all that. I'm not with that.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, people are judging all the time. They say they're not, but they are. And if we could just have that freedom of speech, that freedom to be ourselves, and other people not judge, and not, just be accepting of one another. That's really what we need, despite all the differences, because let's face it, we're different and it's okay. That's imagine world peace and this freedom of speech and acceptance without being judgy. That's my wish.
Well, that's recipes for success, and you are definitely a success leader. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you, to work with you, have a consultation if you have any offerings, how to get a copy of the book. Now, brains, I want you to know that all of her contact information is going to be at the back of this, and it's going to be in the show notes, and we're going to run it over and over again because I want you to connect with her, because she's definitely a winner. But tell them, the nano details, how to get in contact with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, brains, you can find me on my website. It's ALICIAPOZSONY.com. So it's at aliciapozsony.com. You can find me on all the socials. You can look for Power Your Life. You can also look for me on Resilient You on Power 98.5 FM. The books are out there where books are sold: Target, Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, you name it. I'm looking forward to putting out another book. And for my Impact, Influence, and Income Academy, we're going to launch the Power Your Life program year-long membership for the high ticket offering in September. You won't want to miss this. So connect with me on my website, and I will get you the details to connect with this. It's going to be ticketed to a low rate. We're going to have retreats. We're going to have webinars. We're going to have different offerings to connect one-on-one. Text messages, audio responses from me directly. So you won't want to miss this.
Yeah, and that's what I said. When you got access to the decision maker brains, you know that you are mixing it up in the right way with somebody in a Mustang that's going to take you out in town and buy you some peonies. She's a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for being here on The Edge with Us. Brains, go in, listen to her on the radio, follow her, sign up for her program, see if it's in alignment with where you are. Everybody's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but you don't know what your tea is until you pour it. Okay, so go in and take a look. Thank you so much, Alicia. I think you are a rock star. Absolutely, baby. Here's to you.
Thank you, April. And thank you, Brains. Look forward to connecting with you all.
All right, Brains. Have an amazing day. I'm counting on you.